we can start our opening session, and then we can officially start our scientific session. We need to stay on time. We always try not to be too late, but this time we'll do our best to stay within our time limits. I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of the Istituto Zaccagnini. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing these sessions on presbyopia and presbyopes. It is sometimes we focus too much on the problem rather than on the person affected by the problem. So today's topic will be about the presbyopes, so people that have presbyopia. This is a very important conference. It's our 20th Interdisciplinary Congress. It is the only national and international conference organized by a School of Optics and Optometry. It is a challenging task from an organizational and financial viewpoint. We've always done it by ourselves with the support of our teachers and our staff. And we see a large number of professionals coming. We'd like to thank our sponsors and our exhibitors for helping us financially to organize our conference. Unfortunately, continuous education after compulsory education in this country is almost exclusively entrusted to private individuals and private institutions. It is a profession and cooperates with the industry because we don't get much of a public support. So presbyopia and presbyopes, the idea of organizing a conference about it comes from reading the literature and some authors that looked at the economic impact of the poor or lack or inadequate correction of presbyopia. It is an interesting topic which has always intrigued and interested us, because we always try and establish links with the external world and understand what factors have an impact on vision. So in the first part of our session, we'll try and set presbyopia against the economic and human background in a person-driven approach, and then we'll move on to the different approaches to compensation and correction of presbyopia. Of course, we'll try and set the problem against the right background. While organizing the Congress, something important happened which can potentially have a considerable impact on our sector and on distribution and on retail. So the merger of the two largest companies in this area, Luxottica and Essilor. So we are active protagonists in this community. So we we decided to devote 30 minutes at this conference to this event, so to get to know more about the financial implications of this merger. They're not extremely relevant to us, but we'd like to see what kind of an impact that merger can have on our work. There are other types of factors to be taken into account. Much has changed and is changing in this world. Many things have changed, but this merger will have a global impact. Of course, this conference has not been organized by the Zaccagnini Institute alone. In fact, we have relied on national and international organizations that have given a contribution, trying to summarize everything new and interesting happening in our professions involved in vision care is not easy. We're running the risk of repeating things, duplicating without focusing on the most innovative issues. Therefore, the last few conferences have been organized in cooperation with the two institutions involved in optometry and contact lenses practice. So we have Mrs. Laura Levi. She's the president, David Petroni, the president of ILAC, and since we need the support of the academic community and the research community, we have Cesar Naru. He's the global president of IACO, the International Association of Contact Lenses Educators, and then we have the scientific and academic contribution of another institution represented by Fabrizio Zeri. So it's a study group on presbyopia involving experts from different regions and countries. And you'll have a chance to listen to them and get to know them during this conference, and as they play an important role in research. I'm going to give them the floor for a quick hello. Let me start by giving the floor to Laura Levi, the president of SOPTI. I'll never get used to this, to being called president. Well, I'd like to thank our host, Giorgio, our excellent host, for inviting us to take part in the organization of the conference. And it is a pleasure to be here together with the representatives of IACO and ILAC. I would like to thank all participants. Of course, many people are yet to come. Program is about good practice in the management of presbyopic patients. We set a great store to this subject, and SOPTI has always been very keen on developing knowledge in the area of optometry by promoting best practices. I'll now give the floor to David, and thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here today. Good morning. I'd like to thank Giorgio Righetti very much for the invitation. Thank you on behalf of ILAC. I'd particularly like to thank you very much on a Sunday morning here, ready to listen to our speakers. We're used to challenging and interesting topics. We're very passionate about our work. And I do hope that we can share our passion with you and make you passionate too about our profession. It's always wonderful to see so many young people and young people doing research in this area. We feel very inspired by so much new blood coming into our profession. We should follow the examples of many people that will be seen during this conference. Please, well, I really do wish that you can take this disease too, get this contagion of passion in our profession. So let's hope you can get carried away by our love for our profession. We'll now give the floor to Shazad.
Ormai è un abitué del nostro congresso, lo incastriamo da 6 anni a questa parte.
Okay, I wish I could speak Italian. I should learn after so many years. I'm pleased to be here and here representing IACL, the International Association of Contact Lens Educators. Those of you who are teaching in optometry and in opticianry will know about IACL. It's an organization for people who are involved in teaching, so that people who are students or practitioners maybe not are so much aware of this. But presbyopia is at the forefront of a lot of things that we do, and in my presentation I'll highlight some of these things. For example, if we didn't have anything to read, none of us would be presbyopic. So maybe we can blame the people who invented the printing press, or maybe we can blame the people who helped us to live longer, because if we all died at the age of 40, none of us would be presbyopic. So it's an interesting phenomenon. For example, I always say to my students, when you see a patient, look at their height as well, because sometimes you have tall gentlemen who wear reading glasses because they have very long arms, and so the reading ad also is related to their length of their arms, I think. So our former head of department, some of the students will know him, Frank Epigisi, is more than nearly 2 meters tall, and he has arms like an orangutan, so he holds his books very far away, and he's more than 50 and doesn't wear reading glasses. But this is aside from this. But it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Georgia for organising this great meeting.
Prego Fabrizio Zeri. Fabrizio
Zeri is now carrying in a PhD program at Aston University, the first Italian researcher. So we wanted him with us. So let me, well, I've been coming to Bologna for the last 20 years, I think. The first time the venue was in the city center, and we used the oldest slides. Well, the world has changed a lot. We've become presbyopes ourselves. Things have changed. That's why we've chosen this topic. At the beginning, we were so young. We used to talk about learning disorders and pediatric optometry, and so wow, we'll be talking about geriatrics. Well, thank you very much to Giorgio. It's been a great, I've been really lucky. It was a gift being able to meet Shehzad at the BCLA, and then the project was born here. One evening at dinner, we were talking about networking is always good at conferences, and so the project started, took off, funded by the EU, and then a couple of years in the UK, involved in studying presbyopia. One of the commitments that we made at the beginning was trying to develop an event, a monothematic event on presbyopia, because that's what we're talking about today. We invented a name, the Global Presbyopia Symposium. Giorgio launched the first monothematic event in Italy on presbyopia. Let's hope that all the people carrying out research in this area can actually take over and carry it on, giving us all the opportunity to organize more and more events where we can look at the literature, organizing meetings and promoting network in this area. Hopefully, this is one of a long series of such events in Italy and in Europe. Thank you very much to Giorgio.
Nella giornata di oggi e di domani avremo.
Well, today and tomorrow, we'll have a chance to see whether the preparation of the conference has been successful or not, and we've reached our goal or not. Well, I think we can officially start our scientific session. We're incredibly on time. We've been so quick. Probably because all the people sitting at this table were already present at previous conferences, so you already know everything about us. But there's some kind of turnover, and we have new participants. It's a slow start. We have about 550 people registered at the conference. Hopefully, they're all coming. We have no snow, luckily. Shehzad found some snow yesterday, and had a hard time reaching Bologna. They were all up in the mountains skiing. So I think we can immediately give the floor to Fabrizio Zerio, who's going to chair the first session. And of course, Shehzad Naru will be the first speaker, the opening speaker, who will talk about the state of the art on the social and economic impact of presbyopia, reduced economic growth, less wealth produced in the world due to presbyopia, or uncorrected or poorly corrected presbyopia.
Ok, comincio allora a presentare.
Let me immediately introduce the session. As Giorgio said at the beginning, the conference is about the socioeconomic impact of presbyopia and looking at presbyopes as individuals. We decided to start off on this topic in order to take a look at this phenomenon, presbyopia and presbyopes, and then we'll zoom in on physiology and correction and so on and so forth in the further sessions. Let me introduce Shehzad Naru. Very short introduction. Shehzad Naru. Where should I start? Is the IACO president of the International Association of Contact Lenses Educators. They, of course, we're talking about university educators. He's also a reader at the Department of Optometry of Aston University. Last year, he was appointed Optometrist of the Year. So it's a global acknowledgement. He's the editor of one of the most important journals in our sector. So he's an outstanding scientific personality at a global level.